I'm wondering what one of the books that you have written for Choose Your Own Adventure specifically was your favorite? And then outside of Choose Your Own Adventure, what's your favorite piece that you've written outside of Choose Your Own Adventure?
Well, do you want the first you choose your own adventure one? Okay.
Sure.
Well, I
You
don't know.
choose.
Well,
All around the limbo clock. Hey, let's
Limbo
do
clock?
a limbo rock. You don't know the song?
I guess not. I mean, I haven't heard it since like grade school.
Oh my God.
When's the last time you limboed?
I guess the real question is, when's the last time I wanted to limbo? Never. When have you ever been like, yes, I want to enter this limbo contest?
How often does that happen? Like a limbo contest? Just like break out and...
No, not really frequently.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't go to a lot of like beach parties though. I feel like it's a beach party thing, you know?
Right. Mm. Like
That's
bullies kicking sand in
right.
your face.
Yeah.
All right, well, beware and warning, and welcome everybody to Choose Your Own Book Club. This is a podcast all about the Choose Your Own Adventure books. So my name is Peter. I'm a librarian.
My name is Abby. I am a librarian too.
Bring in the energy today.
I'm saying it a different way.
Okay.
My name's Abby. I do what I want. My name's Abby. I do what
That
I want.
is the most true introduction you've ever done.
True.
So yeah, this is a podcast all about the Choose Your Own Adventure books, but we didn't read a book today, did we, Abby?
I mean, I did read a book. I just didn't read a Choose Your Own Adventure book. I read a different book.
Oh, I didn't read it at all.
You didn't read any books this
No,
week?
no,
What? None?
no.
This is important. This is my villain origin story. Is realizing that you don't read anything.
I read these books.
Okay.
Well,
Fair.
so we started this podcast about a year ago.
Yeah.
Because we've always liked the Choose Your Own Adventure series.
And we've always liked each other.
More so the series than each other, I feel. I mean, tell me.
I've always liked you.
Well, that's on you. But
Hard truths today. Hard truths today. Choose your own fam.
this might be an intro episode for some people, so I'm trying to
Okay.
cut down the shenanigans.
Okay, no more shenanigans.
Well,
I do a lot of shenanigans, though.
Yes,
This is an
that is part of
introduction to me as well.
Well, live your truth, Abby.
And I'm full of shenanigans.
So basically, ever since we started the series, started the show, we have tried to contact Edward Packard. He finally responded to one of our emails, and he was able to answer a couple questions, some of them that you submitted through our Instagram account.
Yo.
And then he was kind enough to actually come on to the show, and we did an interview with him over Zoom, and that was amazing too. So our interview is going to be in two parts. One will be the questions and answers that he submitted. The other one will be the audio of us interviewing him together over Zoom. So there's going to be a little bit of carryover between the questions that he answered through email and some of the answers that he, the questions that he answered over Zoom. But I think it kind of gives a kind of a well-rounded answer.
Definitely. It was really cool to talk to him.
It really was. So how about just before we get into
Like,
the
not to rub it into everyone else's faces who didn't get to talk to him. It was cool for us.
It was very cool. It was, I mean, because we've interviewed authors
Yeah.
and introduced authors just through
Through work.
through being librarians.
Yeah.
And this was different. This was so much cooler, I feel, just because we've been following him for so long. And I feel like growing in appreciation of these books.
Definitely. It felt a little more fangirly for me. I did ask him to adopt me.
You literally did.
No shame. No shame. No shame in my adoption game.
So yeah, you'll hear that part in towards the end of the episode. But first, just how about just before we get into the questions and answers, how about just a little bit of background on Edward Packard? Mm-hmm. Edward Packard was born 1931.
Which is a long, long time ago.
Well, yes.
I mean, that's almost 100 years, man.
Right, yeah. The fact that he's still writing is incredible. Mm-hmm. So he was a graduate of Princeton University and Columbia Law School. He was a lawyer, which you didn't know prior to this.
No. I was excited. I was going to ask him for some legal advice, but...
On?
Just everything.
Okay.
How many people can I sue? How much money can I get out of them?
I don't know what kind of lawyer he was.
No.
So he was a lawyer, and then I think he got into writing kind of in an odd way, because he came up with the Choose Your Own Adventure series by coming up with stories for his daughters. He was trying to come up with interesting bedtime stories for his 3 children, Caroline, Andrea, and Wells. So I guess they would come up with like the stories together. They would kind of like improv them almost, like kind of yes and each other. Mm-hmm. And I think because they would want to do different things, he kind of came up with the series that way. There were previously kind of like what's known as game books prior to this, where kind of like the Choose Your Own Adventure format has been done in different entities throughout the years, but he kind of reached it independently, and obviously he grew to what it is today. So yeah, he wrote the first one in 1969, which was Sugarcane Island, and that was unpublished until 1976, when his publisher, who was R.A. Montgomery, published it, and then the two would later take it to Bantam Books, the whole series, and it became the Choose Your Own Adventure series that we know today. Mm-hmm. So how about let's get into the questions and answers. So again, we talked to him a little bit about his background, the history of Choose Your Own Adventure, just some kind of quirky things a little bit. We also asked him about R.A. Montgomery, about the copyright too, and he answered, surprisingly, he answered some of those questions. So how about let's just get into it. So, like I said, these were the questions that we submitted to him originally, and then he answered them over email. So how about I'll ask you the questions, and then you'll just answer them. Not in his voice.
Okay, okay.
Don't do his voice.
Say, can I do it in his voice?
No, just do it like in your normal voice.
Okay.
And so some of the questions, we tried to give him as many questions as possible. Some of them he just answered kind of quickly, and some of them he chose not to answer at all because we gave him so many questions. So if your question wasn't on here, that's okay. I think there's a lot of other good questions that he answered. So how about let's just start with the first one. So Miss Sands33, this is from our Instagram. Miss Sands33 says, ask him about Hyperspace Cameo. Also, why was Dr. Nero Vivaldi the only reoccurring character?
Edward Packard said, the idea of hyperspace was to have environments where extremely strange things happen, though they still have some kind of logic to them. Having me appear as a character fit in with the theme. So he was just having a little goofy fun time with it. I love that. What a sweetie. And then for the Nero Vivaldi question, he said, as far as I can recall, each of my books stood alone. Nothing in any book was a continuation of what went on in a previous book. But after inventing Dr. Nero Vivaldi, an expert in interspecies communication, I thought it would be fun to have her reappear from time to time where she could fit into another book. And she reappears in multiple books.
At least 4.
Yeah.
But Nero Vivaldi isn't the only reoccurring character because you found there was a lawyer in both Mystery Chimney Rock and what was the other one?
Goo. I can't remember, but it's the same lawyer, yeah.
Right.
He just loves planting those little Easter eggs for us.
So
He's the OG Taylor Swift. Oh my God. You need to calm down, Abby. I'm the problem. It's me. Go on.
So yeah, we haven't gotten to hyperspace yet. I don't know what this cameo is, but it sounds kind of like Stephen King-esque, where Stephen King put himself into one of his books at some point. Have some books, so here's his next question. Have some books been planned out and have others evolved more spontaneously?
And Edward Packard said, yes. I love it.
Right.
We love a succinct king.
Yeah, like he said, some of these he wanted to answer just more quickly than others and kind of go more in depth into some other questions.
Yeah.
So that's all we got for that question. But that's okay, because the next one is kind of in the same vein. So which books have been your favorite to write and why? And which have been the most challenging to write?
He said the most challenging. Who killed Harlow Thrombey? Because writing a mystery, you have to give just the right sort of clues so that solution doesn't seem arbitrary, but isn't too obvious either. I had a lot of trouble working this out, but finally hit on the idea of two people conspiring to do it. And I was wondering then, once I learned that he was a lawyer, if that helped him in writing that.
Oh, interesting. I don't know.
I don't know what kind of case law he did,
Right, exactly.
But, like a lot of the, mystery, good kind of court mystery ones are always, lawyers. They were really lawyers' books.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is an interesting theory.
I will ask him when he becomes my grandpa, when he officially adopts me. Please, Mr. Packard.
So that was Corey Barrett's question. So next question is, and he does go into, in the audio interview, he does go into which is his favorite a little bit more. So he'll answer that question again in his own words. So John Leatherman asks, why did the number of endings per book start to decline after Harlow Thrombey? Was there pressure to write the books quickly at the expense of more endings? Is there any book you wish you could add more ending to?
And he said there's a trade-off involved here. If you have more endings, that may be fun, but it's at the expense of longer, more involved storylines. In my case, I didn't intentionally lower the number of endings. I just got interested in making the storylines longer and more complex, and to me, interesting. As a result, there got to be fewer endings, and even though there were as many words per book on average, there was more blank space than when there were more choices. To maintain the same number of pages in each book, Bantam inserted what I called arbitrary turn twos, where it would say turn to, e.g., page 57, even though there was no choice or feeding into another storyline on that page. I thought this was a bad idea and cheapened the series, but never complained to them. That is a super interesting answer because we've talked about
Yes, and about how annoying it is.
Yes, to be in a storyline and then it kicks you to a different one and you're like, wait, where did this random person come from?
So it sounds like it wasn't necessarily a Packard decision.
No.
It was more of a publishing decision.
Yes. I love that.
Right. That's very interesting. It kind of clears something up a little bit.
Spilled the tea.
So this, I think that the answers only get more interesting as we go on.
Oh, girl. I love it.
So yeah, the next, I think this is one of my questions. So how long would it take you to write a Choose Your Own Adventure in general?
And he said about a month on average, but not working full-time, and sometimes it would be part-time, but stretching over longer periods. In the case of some books, some of the time was spent in travel or research. So he did do travel to write the books.
Yeah, I guess. And the research bit is interesting too, because we just talked about survival at sea.
Yeah.
And how...
Do you think he for real, I'm going to go find a storm in a sailboat.
And find a dinosaur.
I'm going to look for a grotto.
No, but he probably actually researched a sailboat.
Yeah.
If he didn't already have that experience. So
Right.
that's very interesting that they actually, tried to make at least some of them realistic.
Yeah, he's a coastie though, so he probably knows about that stuff.
And I feel like, as opposed to other children's series, these weren't published like Babysitter's Club, where there's one every 2 months. So I feel like, at least in the beginning, or I don't know if this is true or not, but it feels like they did take their time with them.
Well,
And-
the fact that there were two authors too,
Right.
it was like, okay, well, maybe Packard was taking more than, a couple months because he and Montgomery were
Trading off.
trading off.
Our next question is, I know you were a lawyer before being an author, like we discussed. Were you a lawyer the whole time you were writing Choose Your Own Adventure?
He said, I quit as soon as it was safe to do so. Sooner, in fact. I
Which,
love it.
good for you, Mr. Packard.
Yeah.
Just living your truth and just following your dreams.
Right? I mean, he, knew that it was a big deal. He knew
Right.
it was a BFD.
Well, he knew that it had potential too, because when he wrote the book, the first book in '69, and no one wanted it until '76 when Montgomery published it, but it didn't do the best, and so he wanted to shop around to other publishers because he just believed in it,
Right.
and he was right. Like it blew up, and
Oh, yeah. Well, when Peter and I were just coming in, we stopped at the front reference desk at my library here where we record, and one of my coworkers, who's a little older than us, had said when she was a children's librarian, these books just flew off the shelf. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you're talking about people, me and Peter's age, checking these books off, flying off the shelf to
Right.
people our age, and it's true. Yeah. They probably couldn't keep them on the shelves because of us.
so yeah. This next question I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. So this is another question of mine. There is a lot of child endangerment in the series. Do you think Choose Your Own Adventure could be written today? And so I know that there are Choose Your Own Adventure books still, like new
Yeah.
books that are being published. But my question was more, could you write the old ones today?
Yeah.
So what did he write?
He said you could probably tell better than I could because I'm not in close touch with the parents / schools / culture.
Right. So he didn't really know the answer.
He punted.
Yeah, but who really knows the answer? So it's
Yeah.
something I kind of want to talk to you about. Like,
Right.
what do you think you could publish these books today?
Would they get canceled?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's the correct word.
No, not really. I don't think so. I think there's an element to it that we as adults look at and can giggle about, right? But I think kids don't really see it that way.
Right.
When I'm reading these with my youngest, who's 9, he'll be 10 this year. He's in 4th grade. He of course now looks at them and thinks oh, haha, of course I'm going to drive this car. I'm a 9-year-old child. But he thinks that because he's so used to listening to us make these jokes about
sure.
it, I don't think that he would, that would even cross his mind if it weren't for us. Because as a kid, it did not cross my mind.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that's very much the same. But I do think, as a parent, we're just parenting in a really different time where, when I was a kid in the 90s, it's you leave in the morning and you don't come back to your house until dinner time. And I don't know what my mom did all day. I don't
sure.
know. Do you know what your mom did while you were gone all day? If you left the house? I don't know. I was at the pool or the park or a different kid's house. Sometimes, I don't know. I rode my bike all over the darn place. I went to weird random construction sites and just messed around, throwing rocks into the quarries and stuff.
It was a different time, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would not let my kid do that now. I gotta know where they are. It's just so different, Even I was talking to a friend about sleepovers and stuff. It's just such a different time. I was always at someone else's house or they were at my house, and it's just there's more more caution, I think, for kids. We of course want our kids to experience life and friendship and build resilience and things like that, which I think the Choose Your Own Adventure books definitely are about resilience and choices and things like that. But we also want to make sure our kids are protected and know that they're loved and cared for and stuff. And so, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's so yeah. Could you publish the old books today?
Because
to
there's
a modern
no
audience?
parent, you know.
Right,
There's
there is no
parent
parent,
checking
yes.
in on this kid.
I feel that, I think you would have to get rid of some of the more graphic deaths. Like there's like drowning and there's suffocation, and the details are a little bit too graphic, I think, for kids nowadays.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, and I think you'd have to add in some elements too of like the parents potentially checking in and things like that to make it realistic. 'Cause,
That's
like,
true.
Think about like Alvin Ho, like that book series. There's like one series where he gets chicken pox and has to stay home, like one book in that series. And like a lot of kids are vaccinated against chicken pox.
Yes.
They will never get it and they won't be able to like read that book and share that experience. So like that is such a foreign concept to them that they don't get it, you know.
Well, sure. Okay, and also there's no cell phones in these books either.
Right.
I mean, they try in the Montgomery re-releases. They try to add
Right.
technology.
Or, like shoehorn it in.
Yeah, but it is shoehorned. You're right.
Yeah. So like I think if you were to like publish these now, you would have to, have some kind of elements of like, parental supervision in some cases or adult supervision or something, because that's just like such a like omnipresence in these kids' lives nowadays. You could, yeah. For me, I was like, yeah, I could run around all day. I could go to a different country. My mom wouldn't even know.
Well, I think that was going to go to another point I was going to make, is that it's interesting and kind of satisfying that Packard and Montgomery, they kind of trust you with these choices. That even though you're a kid and you can never make 99% of the choices you'll never be able to make.
Oh, yeah, not in real life, no.
But they kind of trust you with adventure, and they trust you to kind of get into crazy situations with consequences, but in the safety of a book.
Right. And then they're like, if you actually are ever faced in real life with this situation, now you know what to do, babe.
So, yeah, I guess I would answer that question. I think some of the endings would have to be edited a little bit just to kind of soften some of the more gruesome deaths. But I still think they're fun. I still think they're kid appropriate.
For sure. I think that it would have to have some little tailoring.
Yeah.
For the kids to be able to be like, yeah, this is plausible.
Yeah, but that's just our opinion, I suppose.
Yeah.
So
I would love to have everyone else's opinion. Write into us. Let us know what you think.
Yeah,
Gmail.
Sure. Gmail, or you can go onto our Instagram.
Yep.
So, next question is, what's the weirdest ending you remember writing for Choose Your Own Adventure?
Not necessarily the weirdest, but the weirdest that comes to my mind right now is the non-ending in Sugarcane Island, where you reach a place where time goes in a circle. The page you turn to is a page and place and situation you've experienced before, and your adventure is circular and never ends.
Which we haven't gotten to Sugarcane Island
No.
yet. That was re-released as number 76, I think, or in the 70s, so it's going to be a while till we get there.
Yeah.
But I do remember we did Give Yourself Goosebumps, and Stein kind of had a similar idea.
Yeah.
Where, I think you're in a hall of mirrors, and, you're constantly flipping back and forth because you're stuck.
Yeah. Time
So,
trap.
yeah, that's a kind of an interesting mechanic because, again, these are books, but they're also games. So you're not only a writer, you're like a dungeon master almost.
Yeah.
Basically.
Essentially.
So that kind of leads well into the next question, which is another question I asked was, I noticed you playing with the format in the early books, like Harlow Thrombey is very different from the other books because, again, there's so many different choices you can make. You can interview different people. And at the end, like we discussed, there's kind of this big, long list of things you can do. And if you found other clues, you can, you're supposed to go to different pages or not. And also, to follow up on that question, inside UF 5440 has the ending you can't get to by looking at other page numbers. So can you reflect on experimenting with a format like that? When do you think you really got it down?
I love this answer. Ideas for such things just pop into my mind. I can't order them up. They arrive unannounced, so to speak.
That is a frustrating answer, but I think that kind of speaks to Packard in that he was just kind of wired like that, or he is wired like that.
Right. I think that's like evidence of a very creative mind, though. Things just pop into your head.
But that he can do both.
Right.
Both make it a game and a book, and do both so well is just, it speaks to these books, I feel.
Right. That's why I think his books are so much more elegant.
Right, and because I think that's one of the failings of Montgomery a little bit, is that sometimes he focuses a little bit too much on the game aspect or the book aspect, and he doesn't get the balance as well as Packard does.
No nuance.
Yes, and Packard kind of nailed it. It seems kind of right out of the gate, too. And
that's because he's the OG. He's the originator, baby.
So I think that gets into the next question a little bit. So I prefaced these questions by saying, hey, these are going to be a little bit more personal. We want to talk a little bit more about the cancellation. You do not have to answer these questions at all. And surprisingly, and thankfully, he did talk a little bit about them. And so he'll get into it a little bit more in our audio interview. But yeah, here's some of the, so we asked him about the copyright. We asked him about Montgomery a little bit. So here we go. Can you talk about the cancellation of Choose Your Own Adventure? Any feelings you had at the time? I know that R.A. Montgomery bought the rights to the branding after the cancellation. Were you aware of that at the time? I think you retained all of your copyrights to your own books. So what did moving forward look like for you?
He said, I was surprised that Random House, which had acquired Bantam by that time, would let go of the trademark. If they sold it to Montgomery, why didn't they give me a chance to bid on it? I might have bid higher, or did they just abandon it and tell him that's what they were doing? I suspect that someone at Random House wasn't acting in the best interests of Random House, but how it happened is a mystery to me.
Again, I don't want to get too much into it for legal reasons.
Right.
But in every interview or every expose about the Choose Your Own Adventure books, I always found it interesting that it's always about, hey, these two authors created this big empire of books, and one of them ended up with it. And that's it. So I'm glad that he kind of shed some light on this a little bit.
Yeah. It's really interesting, though, because it would be really interesting to see Random House's side of things, you know?
Yes.
I would love to hear their thoughts. Random House, hit us up.
Well, we can't ask Montgomery now, unfortunately. I think he died in the 2000s.
He did pass.
But perhaps we could reach out to a Choose Your Own Adventure representative at some point and go from there. So to follow up on that, we asked him about R.A. Montgomery. So since we mentioned him, what do you think of R.A. Montgomery's books in general? They are definitely more sci-fi heavy and a bit more absurd. So what were your thoughts at the time? And here was his answer, which I thought was great.
He said, I never read more than a few pages of anything he wrote. We were on different wavelengths. And that's very true.
I think so, yeah.
Their books are very, very different.
Yes. But I think that goes to something that we kind of pointed out in one of our earlier episodes, is that they seemed to work okay together, but they didn't seem like the best of buds.
No, they didn't seem like they were coordinating at all.
Right, and that's kind of evident in in the early run, there was a space book by Montgomery followed up by another space book by Packard.
Yeah, that were so close together that it was like they were probably writing them simultaneously.
Yes.
So, yeah. But they were so, different in kind of tone and texture that it's, yeah.
So it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of correlation or coordination between the two.
No.
I remember I read an interview with Packard that was published a couple years ago, and basically it sounds like Montgomery just asked Packard, "Hey, how do you map these out?" And Packard showed him, and then it seems like the two never really talked that much. Well, I don't 100% know, but it doesn't sound like they coordinated beyond that.
Yeah. Which I guess is kind of like, I mean, everybody has that at work and stuff. I mean, I have processes that I use, and then it's like, oh, this is how I do things. And then other people have their own process too.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it works well for me doesn't mean it works well for everybody.
Oh, so the next question was about his Choose Your Own Adventure books. So I wrote, I know you have re-released some of the books under the You Ventures series. So for those that don't know, You Ventures was, they tried to kind of relaunch some of the Edward Packard books with some edits, similar to the re-release of the Choose Your Own Adventure books that R.A. Montgomery did. So I think You Ventures was only like 3 or 4 books, but it doesn't sound like they sold the best because the branding is everything.
Yeah.
So they didn't sell the best. So I asked them about the You Venture series. And I wrote, would you ever release them under the Choose Your Own Adventure book series if given the opportunity?
He said, I expanded and revised 3 of my Choose Your Own Adventure books for the You Ventures edition. They were better than the originals, but didn't sell well because they didn't have the CYOA trademark, which I am not allowed to use. For anyone interested, see CYOA history on my website, edwardpackard.com.
Yeah, so he mentions the history a little bit in the audio interview,
Yeah.
which we'll get to in a little bit. So here's the last question was, you've clearly encouraged and inspired an entire generation of readers. Now that most of them are older, our age, do you have any words of insight for them?
I suggest that anyone interested in my thinking about how to live take a look at my essay, The View from 92, on my website, edwardpackard.com. Best wishes,
So-
Edward.
So yeah, The View from 92 is about a 7-page essay that he wrote.
But I love his daily blog, where he talks about how much he doesn't like Donald Trump. That's my boy. That's why I said adopt me.
So we read through his essay really quick. One of the lines that stood out to me was, it's under the heading called Sleepwalking Self-Deception. So sleepwalkers are people who proceed through the day as if it is on autopilot. Thoughts pass through their minds, but they fail to consider their import, implications, and likely consequences. Choose your own adventure. I spent most of my life sleepwalking, and I know all about it. When you are sleepwalking, you fail to consider what the purpose is of what you're doing and how your actions and failure to act will affect you and how it will affect others, and how they may react to your behavior. Sleepwalkers can go off the rails and stay there unless they luckily stumble back on track.
True.
That is true.
Yeah, I do. I've been reading a lot lately about like community care, right? And how
Well, that's part of your job.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm an outreach librarian, so my job is, reaching out into the community and trying to engage people and bring them into the library and make sure that we're building the community, right? And not just like every man is an island kind of thinking. But I do really feel like that kind of individualistic thinking that everyone has, that like sleepwalking kind of, we're just so built to work against each other, and we have been for so long in this like country that we've turned away from community care and helping other people and thinking about how our actions impact others, and really it's important for us to work together and think about others and help other people like
Right.
really and really, it's like, man, with the Choose Your Own Adventure books, it's like you can make selfish choices.
Yes.
You can. But oftentimes it's like making bold and helpful choices. And
sometimes even in the books, those don't work out.
no, it's true. Because it's true of real life, too. But But yeah, we
I
gotta
was
try.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Of course you need to try. I was thinking about the books too, in kind of a philosophical sense, in that as a kid, we talked about this so many times, but as a kid, like I would have to put bookmarks into the different choices as I went on because I didn't want to miss anything, and I was kind of scared of what was going to happen. But maybe scared is too strong of a word, but I just wanted to get the right ending.
Right.
And of course, these books are games. These books are supposed to be for fun, but that's not necessarily a way to live life.
Right. No.
That you kind of just have to make a choice
And just go with
and
it.
stick with it
Yeah.
and accept it.
Right. That's true.
I still do that now with these books because of the podcast, but I think just in general, it's good just to kind of let go
Yeah.
and keep going. And I think that's partially also what he's talking about in that. And
For sure. So I would recommend checking it out.
or just checking out his blog in general.
Yeah.
So
If you want to listen to a 90-some-year-old guy just rail against conservative politics, then that blog is for you. And for me, frankly, I am into it. Love it.
So that was the email interview, but like we stated in the beginning of the podcast, he was also kind enough to hop on Zoom for a little bit. And originally, I just said, hey, just come on and say hi, and we just want to thank you for the books. But he answered some extra questions. Some of the questions he already answered in the email, but he kind of reiterates some of his answers or kind of goes into his answers a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
And yeah, some of the questions are completely brand new. So, how about give it a listen?
Yeah.
So, thank you for joining us, Mr. Packard.
Well, I'm pleased to do it. I've already answered some questions, but if you have any other questions, let them fly.
Sure. Well, I guess, we've been wondering, I suppose, what have you been up to since the main Choose Your Own Adventures ended?
Well, I wrote several books. I decided I had enough of that, so I wrote some books I had 3 books that got published, but they didn't sell anything like Choose Your Own Adventure.
Of course.
And then I had quite a long period where I couldn't get anything published. My agents and I have a very good relationship, but we're not on the same wavelength as far as literary matters are concerned. I did do the 3 U Ventures books with Simon Schuster.
And U Ventures were the republishing of the...
Yeah. Even though I expanded and improved them because my writing has gotten better, they didn't sell because they didn't have the trademark.
Of course.
So they were, everything works according to algorithms and so forth, as you know. So then I recently wrote a novel, but my agent didn't like that. So I'm trying to convert it into a movie. It's a space adventure, and it would be very good for a movie. And I had an interesting development last summer. My grandson David Cornsweet got invited to be Superman, and so he's going to be making this new Superman movie, and he might be able to put my movie idea in front of somebody significant. So
are you serious? Oh, wow.
The motivation. And then this past year, I wrote a short book titled Imagine, 59 thought experiments that tell you how you think. And my agent didn't like that one either, but some other people have liked it a lot. But unfortunately, they're not agents or editors for big publishing companies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually going to post that on my website for downloading for anyone who wants to look at it.
Because you're very active on your website.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that should be up by next weekend. By a week from today, if anybody's interested, they can check my website a week from today and see if this is available. And it's each thought experiment is about they range from 1 to 4 pages. So, and there are 59 of them. So the book has the advantage of if there's some topic you're not interested in, you can just skip over it. You don't have to read it sequentially. And there's some echoes of Choose Your Own Adventure in that book. In
Oh,
fact,
interesting.
one thought experiment where it gives you a choice and you can turn to two different pages. So that's my little bit of nostalgia there.
Well, I know the story is that you kind of came up with the idea of choose your own adventure by reading to your daughters, was it correct?
Yeah.
So did you come up with that thought independently, or were you inspired by anything else?
Well, I was, as far as the substance of the story, I was a little inspired to some degree by books that I had really liked a lot when I was a kid. And
Oh, like what?
the books were Treasure Island by
Oh, of course.
Stevenson and Robinson Crusoe, where you get stuck on on a mysterious island.
Hmm.
And so making up stories, I thought of something like Robinson Crusoe, where you're shipwrecked, or you are not shipwrecked, and he was shipwrecked, and
Hmm.
he was the only survivor, but he still had the ship nearby. But in my story, you're swept off a boat, off ship by a big wave, so you're washed up on this beach. And so that seemed like a good setting to make up a story about what would happen to you then. So it was really accidental. I said, well, what should you do here? Walk along the beach or climb up the rocky hill? And so it occurred to me that if I'd been a really better storyteller, I would have thought it up what to do by myself. I said, "What would you do?"
Hmm.
And got different answers. And so that was commuting on the train to New York from Connecticut then. And so I had a little bit of time, and I just started writing it with the branching stories. So that's how it happened. And I kept wondering, why hasn't anybody done this before? Maybe, but then I found people. I was able to get it. I had a friend who had a friend who was an agent, and he showed it to several major
Hmm.
publishers. They turned it down.
Of course.
So it sat in the desk drawer for a few years, but then fortunately it got it published with the Vermont Crossroads Press with Ray Montgomery, and
Of course.
that's how it started.
Yeah,
When did
my
you?
biggest question, Peter, sorry,
Oh,
is
you're fine.
I guess
Oh,
being like the originator of this format, how does it feel to have had so many people now who have replicated the format? Because, of course, Choose Your Own Adventure is like the big
yeah.
name in the game, but there are a lot of offshoots and similar brands, the You Choose and other ones like that. Peter and I, obviously, both librarians, were familiar with lots of other
Mhm.
option kind of books like this. How does it feel to be like everyone is kind of like, oh my gosh, we're doing the same kind of
Yeah.
thing because it's so popular?
Yeah, you created your own genre, basically.
If I
You
had
made the genre.
Yeah, if I hadn't been brain dead at the time, I would have thought of it. Actually, the way I titled the book at first was The Adventures of You.
Yes.
And so it was like The Adventures of You on Sugarcane Island, and each one
Mhm.
would be The Adventures of You. And that's how the very first book was published. But then actually, the first contract I had was before Bantam started Choose Your Own Adventure. And this is all on my website. I have a brief history of Choose Your Own Adventure. And I got 2 books published by Lippincott, and they actually use that phrase.
Mhm.
But they were brain dead too, because they didn't trademark it. I didn't trademark it. And then Bantam thought which they wanted to go after a big, and Lippincott, which had published it for my first two, and thought up the idea, the name of Choose Your Own Adventure. They didn't they didn't pursue it. They just were very sleepy. But Bantam took hold of it, and the editor there, it was written up in the New York Times that Joelle Del Burgo, really liked it. The agent that Ray had gotten brought it to her, and she talked the president of Bantam into going big on it and really making a big series of it, and sending out copies to everybody. And so it took off, and they owned the trademark. And then later they got bought by Random House. And as I mentioned in answer to the letter, when Random House finished with the series and wound it down, instead of keeping the trademark, they let it go, and Ray Montgomery got it.
Yes.
And how he got it, I don't know, but he got it. And I was totally focused on other stuff at that point. And so that's how I don't have any right to use the trademark. So as to your question, yeah, it would have been nice if I had thought of the trademark and controlled it and so forth. And you can't copyright the idea of Choose Your Own Adventure. So
Right.
anything do that. But the trademark became very important, and they've raised company Choose Co. Ray died,
Yes.
but his widow took it over, I guess. I don't know. I think she's in charge of it.
Sharon Gillum.
They have made great things of it. Well, as far as my feelings are concerned, I feel very lucky that I accomplished what I did. And it would be very foolish for me to be anguished about what happened with the Choose Your Own Adventure trademark. And also, I'm interested in other things, and
Of course.
that phase is over, and exploring other activities.
When did you realize it had gotten so huge? Was there a particular instance where you
Yeah,
realized?
well, yeah, there was right at, of course, Bantam was trying to publicize it, and soon after it got published, the New York Times had a culture reporter, editor, who based in Los Angeles, named Alden Harmetz, I think her name was. And one day her daughter came home and said, "Mom, you should look at this. This is really cool." Well, this is sort of culture. So it led to a big spread article in the New York Times. And Bantam was publicity department is working around, and so that was a help. But then the Bantam got me on the Today Show. In those days, the Today Show, NBC, was the biggest morning show, and I don't know if you whether you're old enough to have ever seen it when it had Jane Pauley and Bryant Gumbel on it, but it was very pop. So I got on that, and they interviewed me and so forth. And I think from then on, that gave it a tremendous jolt, and it got rolling from there.
Awesome. I'm wondering what one of the books that you have written for Choose Your Own Adventure specifically was your favorite? And then outside of Choose Your Own Adventure, what's your favorite piece that you've written outside of Choose Your Own Adventure?
Well, do you want the first you Choose Your Own Adventure one? Okay.
Sure.
Well,
You choose.
I really don't think I have a favorite. I have the nostalgic feeling about Sugarcane Island was the first one.
Your first one, yes.
And then The Cave of Time, which is the first book in the series. My daughter, Andrea, thought up the idea for that. And I wanted to do a time machine type book, but let's not use a time machine. Can't we think of some other way to get to different times? And she said, how about a cave where there are various tunnels leading from, and so it was like a time machine, but a different device for getting to different times. And so I like that one. And then the ones where I thought up weird ideas like UFO 5440, was it,
Oh, I love that one.
where
Yeah.
you have the plan get to ultimate, but there's no way to get there.
I
And then
love that one.
Mhm.
yeah, and so anytime you think of something like that that's fresh and new, it's very uplifting.
Mhm.
In hyperspace, where it was a character that came on the scene for a while. So those are the ones I like. As far as ones books I like outside of Choose Your Own Adventure, the first book I wrote after I wasn't writing the Choose books, this was in the 90s, was a book of I've always liked space stuff and universe and astronomy, and so this one was called Imagining the Universe, and it was trying to uh, show illustrations that showed the scale of things. And so the cover was a picture of the Earth, that famous Earth picture from space. So it
Okay.
looks like a planet sitting in Candlestick Park, and where if it were reduced to that side, Candlestick Park was then, it subsequently was named 3Com Park or something. It's in San Francisco. Anyways, a baseball stadium, and it was there. It was sitting, and so the question was, where would the moon be if? The moon was about 30 miles away, as I recall. Anyways, so anyway, I tried to do that with different pictures and different illustrations of planets and things, show relative sizes, and that got published, and it got a Scientific American Book Award, and it was mentioned on NPR as one of the best science books of the year. But the publisher, in my opinion, didn't market it very well, and they put on a subtitle I didn't like without my permission. So anyway, that didn't fly. Most books don't,
Sure.
for all the books that the publishers make their money on the ones that really take off. Of
Mhm.
course, I've been very lucky with Choose Your Own Adventure that was in that category, but uh, this one didn't. And then I did an educational book called Big Numbers, and that also trying to show how if if something increases exponentially, how much, what visually it's like. So I did that with peas, uh, with one pea and then 10 peas on a plate. And so finally the peas fill up the whole house, and then they're covering the whole thing as I go to bigger and bigger numbers. That was fun. So I've had a lot of fun with these books, but I've never had anything really take off the way the Choose books did. And
But very few things do. So
Right. I mean, that's
very
like a
few things
global
do.
phenomenon.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I have a little trouble hearing, especially could you say that again?
Oh, I said very few things do take off the way that Choose Your
Yeah,
Adventures do.
yeah. Anyway, my mind is still churning, as you'll see if you look at Imagine 59 thought experiments when it gets on my website.
Yeah, well, your website is so great. We were just talking about it yesterday, me and Abby, about we're just so glad that you're still writing every single day, even if it's just your thoughts about the news or your
Yeah,
thoughts on just the
yeah.
day's events.
Yeah, well, I started this daily blog because I have a friend who keeps a journal every day. He writes down stuff, and
Hmm.
he has now about 5 volumes of 3 or 4 thousand words uh, of his journal, and I recommend younger people to keep a journal, even though I don't do it myself, because it helps you know what you think, and it keeps a record of what you're doing and what was absorbing you. Anyway, so this daily blog, I thought I would do that too, and I didn't particularly want to get on politics, but I was inspired by Trump, and so I'm I decided, well, I'm going to keep it up through the election this year.
Sure.
In my anti-Trump blog, and then I hope to write about other things.
No, I support you writing about that. That is,
I'm
I was
glad.
like, adopt me.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some of my old fans probably say don't like my writing, but others do.
Exactly. You may lose some, but you might gain others. That's what I always
Yeah,
think.
and also I'm at this stage where, I'm not trying to make I'm not trying to be commercially successful. I'm just trying to say what I think.
Sure,
And
right.
also, but it is good stimulating when you get to be my age. It's very good to keep your mind working on things, and it makes a huge difference in your mental capacity. If you're just like physically, you got to
Yeah,
exercise. I think you have to exercise your brain too.
of course.
Well, we want to thank you so much, Mr. Packard, for coming on.
Okay.
Yeah, we really appreciate your time. We love the books so much. This started off just kind of as a fun project, but just as we've gotten deeper and deeper into the books, we've just really come to just really appreciate what you made.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you both.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Good luck.
It was so nice meeting you. Thank you.
Thank
It was
you
a huge
too.
honor. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So yeah, we recorded that last week. Since then, we went back on his blog, and he has published his latest book. It's called 59 Thought Experiments. Yeah, it's on his. Like I said, it's on his blog. It's 141 pages. What a rock star! Just to be like, I just want to write, and if I don't make any money off of it, that's fine. I just want to create.
And if all of our listeners just go and read his book right now, it's the same basic length as most of our Choose Your Own Adventure books, frankly.
That is true, yeah.
Just go read it. He'll be very happy. Do you want to make Edward Packard happy? I do. Let's all go download his book.
Well, he also said that there's some kind of Choose Your Own Adventure
Elements?
Yes, thank you. There's some Choose Your Own Adventure elements in his new book.
Yeah.
So yeah, how about go to his blog. It's really easy to get to, edwardpackard.com, and yeah, just read his free book.
Yeah. Do it for Edward Packard, my grandpa. my new grandpa.
Before we end today, I kind of want to end on a Choose Your Own Adventure book. Because we've talked about these books for almost a year now.
Yeah.
And we talk about how they're weird. We talk about how they're crazy. Talk about how they're funny. Talk about how they don't make sense.
Yep.
We rarely talk about how well they're written.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to go back to The Forbidden Castle, which is number 14, which is a book we didn't necessarily enjoy.
Not so much.
I mean, well, we didn't hate it, obviously.
No.
We thought it was good.
It was
We thought there was some flaws in the design of it because we talked about Michelle, who was a very interesting character, but it was very hard to get to her. But ever since then, we did that episode. I've been thinking about a particular ending, and I wanted to share it with you really quick. So I thought this would be a great way to kind of end our salute to Edward Packard.
Yes.
So this is on page 118 of The Forbidden Castle. So I'm not 100% sure how you get to here, but basically you and Michelle are, you're trying to escape. This whole book is about trying to find the Forbidden Castle, which is kind of this ideal place that's safe. So this book we discuss, it's all about power and it's all about servitude. And kind of having your own power or being forced to give your power to other people.
Boo.
Exactly. So I just wanted to read this ending to you. It's the last page of the book, which I thought was very interesting, that he ended the book with this ending. So page 118. We can't stop now, you say. It will be dark soon. You hurry along the trail, slowing only to push the thorny branches aside. But darkness comes quickly in no man's forest. You strain to see each turn in the trail. Then suddenly it grows, lighter up ahead. A few quick steps and you yell for joy. Michelle, we made it! Ahead of you is a field of golden grain. On the hillside beyond is a stone cottage. Nearby, a peasant woman is hoeing a small garden. You and Michelle run toward her, and she looks up from her work. Can you give us some food, Michelle says? We are lost and hungry. I would like to help you, but I am a poor serf, says the woman. I work for the lord of the manor. He is a cruel man. Look, there are 2 of his knights now. She points to 2 men riding straight toward you. Right now, you are too weary and hungry to resist. What can we do? Michelle asks. You look at her and manage to smile. We've been through a lot, and we've learned a lot. Someday, we shall escape, and we shall find the Forbidden Castle.
Someday.
Isn't that amazing? Like, I think that's just such a good ending for a kid's book. It's dismal, but it's hopeful. I love endings where I am trying to convince you that a bad thing that's happening to us is good. I am trying to give you hope when there is no hope.
Right. It's gloomy, but it's like, hey man, the sun will come out tomorrow.
I think that's so well written. Because we don't think we talk about that enough because these books.
I'm always trying to be goofy.
Because this is a comedy podcast.
Yeah.
Or we try to be at least. And so these books aren't always necessarily set up the best, which is kind of detrimental to the writing a little bit because you're not invested in the characters as much. You're not invested in the scenario because the focus is on making choices.
Right.
And the fact that he's still able to evoke that emotion with so few pages because you're devoting other pages to other branches. I think he's an incredible writer. I really do. Well, thanks for listening today, everybody. Let's just get to our regular housekeeping. So if you like the show, make sure that you subscribe so you can stay on top of recent episodes, and make sure that you like us and give us 5 stars on iTunes because it helps other people find the show. We just got a really amazing review.
Yeah. Also, like us in real life, that helps my feelings.
We just got a really nice review from insert funny name here.
Great name.
Do you want to read it really quick?
Oh, sure. Am I a better reader than you?
Oh, no.
Library Kids Unite. I spent way too much time reading and rereading all the Choose Your Own Adventure books as a kid, and librarians Peter and Abby are the perfect guides to help me relive all the wackiness that happened in them. If you choose to have a great time hanging with your new podcast friends, press play. If not, your story ends here. But press play.
Isn't that nice?
That's very cute.
So yeah, things like that. It just helps us. It helps other people find the show, but it just helps us in life.
Yeah, it's fun. It's nice.
Yeah, because we're just doing this for fun, and So thank you for that. Please follow us on Instagram because we post just memes from the books and photos from the books.
I spend a lot of time meme harvesting. In the hunter-gatherer world, I am the meme gatherer.
Plus,
and also probably a hunter because I can't imagine you hunting.
Oh no, with these arms? No, thank you.
I couldn't hunt anything though.
So yeah, Abby posts a lot of fun stuff there. But I think we're also going to for that Zoom call, I think we're going to post some of the video on there too. You can email us at chooseyourownbookclubpodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions. I think that about covers it. Also, thank you to Edward Packard for coming on the show.
Oh, big time.
This was a dream come true.
Yeah, that was really cool and so nice and just super generous. And he was just like the cutest ever. So adorable. I love him.
Yeah, he is amazing.
Yeah.
I think that about covers it. Our next book, we're kind of debating which we're going to do, if we're going to go back to Choose Your Own Adventure book or if we're going to do something different for a little bit. Otherwise, I think that about wraps it up. So, my name is Peter. I'm a librarian.
My name is Abby. I am a wild card
And
and a librarian.
thank you. So thanks for choosing us today, everybody. This has been Choose Your Own Book Club.
Bye. Bye.